All right, the Houston Rockets add Kevin Durant over the offseason. I was happy to see Kevin Durant leave the Suns and go to a really good team in the Houston Rockets. Houston fans, they lost to Golden State in 7 games last season. No shame in losing to Golden State. They're a really good team. They've won 4 championships. Stephen Curry was amazing in that series. Jimmy Butler was really good as well. So I know Houston fans were mad to lose in the first round. They took Golden State 7 games, though, again, so there's not really any shame in losing to Golden State. It's not a moral victory. I know Houston fans don't want to hear that. I feel like no NBA fan should ever say that. Oh, we lost this game, but it felt like a win. It's still an L at the end of the day. You can lose a game and still take good things away from it, or lose a series and still take good things away from it. So I think Houston probably learned a lot in the Golden State series. They'll be more experienced coming into playoffs this year. Thing with Houston though, the Lakers in Houston, they're 3-4. Nobody fucking wants to play Denver in the playoffs at all. The OKC doesn't want to see them. The Spurs don't want to see them. Nobody fucking wants to see Denver. Denver, in my opinion, they're probably like the scariest team in the entire NBA. When they're healthy, their offense is just so ridiculous. They beat the Spurs the other night. San Antonio was up 18 to 20 points in the first half, and then Denver just walked them down and ended up winning the game. Jamal Murray's just going off. Back to my point though, the Lakers and Houston, they're fighting, they're going back and forth to try to get the 3 seed because again, nobody wants to play Denver in the first round, or you don't want to play Denver at all if you're able to duck them all playoffs long. So if you can get in the 3rd seed for Houston, if they get in the 3rd seed, they'll match up against Minnesota in the first round right now, or possibly Phoenix. If I'm a Houston fan, I want to get that 3rd seed. Hopefully Minnesota drops down to 7, then hopefully Phoenix can beat them in the play-in game, and you can play against Phoenix or the Clippers. The Clippers are like 5 games back, so it'll probably be Phoenix. But Lakers and Houston, they're jockeying back and forth to try to get that number 3 seed, because if Houston is the number 4 seed, or if the Lakers are the number 4 seed and you play Denver in the first round, you're just going to go home in the first round. Even if you're a Rockets fan or a Lakers fan, um, you're not going to admit it, but in the back of your head, you don't fucking want to see Denver. So that's what Houston is fighting for right now. Again, they had Kevin Durant over the offseason. Last season, they're super promising. Have the awesome series against Golden State. Amen Thompson's amazing. Jabari Smith is really good. Of course, Şengün. People love and hate Şengün. I think he's an awesome offensive player. I think he's really bad on defense, and I think he cries to the officials a lot. I think Houston fans can admit that as well. Kind of like with the Lakers, Luka will complain a lot to the officials. I've heard Lakers fans kind of complaining about that. My main thing with Şengün is just he's really good offensively. I don't know if it's his effort on defense. He just can't move his feet very well. He's just not a really good defensive player, and that may hurt Houston in the playoffs. They had trouble guarding San Antonio with all the different guards they have. Everyone's gonna have trouble guarding Wemby. Another huge thing for Houston, Steven Adams, he got his ankle surgery. It was like January 28th. It was like late in January. If y'all don't know, he had his ankle surgery. Steven Adams is going to miss the rest of the season and the playoffs. And it fucking sucks for Rockets fans because, in my opinion, Steven Adams is like probably their 3rd most important player. 3rd or 4th, I mean, Kevin Durant's their most important player. Amen Thompson's number 2 for me. Then Şengün's, you could switch it. I mean, Şengün or Steven Adams on given nights. Şengün can be really bad some nights where Steven Adams gives you everything in the margins. He's way better defensively, way better rebounding wise, and he just brings you all that energy that Şengün's not really going to give you as far as attacking the offensive glass and just playing defense goes out there. But they're going to miss Steven Adams really, really bad. I'm not a Houston fan, but it kind of sucked when I heard that because I like to see all the teams be at full strength going into the playoffs. But going to Houston's schedule, one point I will make, they beat like all the contenders. They beat OKC. Here's a game. They beat Boston. Keep on going. They beat Cleveland, if you consider Cleveland a real championship contender. They added James Harden. I definitely consider Cleveland a real threat to come out of the Eastern Conference. They beat Golden State. They're not a championship contender, but that's a good win. Lost to Denver in that game, but they beat Denver a couple days later. This is all in December before Steven Adams came out. I don't consider the Lakers a serious contender, but they did beat the Lakers as well. They beat San Antonio right here. That was Steven Adams. I'm pretty sure he missed that game. I don't think he had his surgery yet, but he had his ankle injury. Then they got the surgery somewhere here late in January. So once you get into February, right here, they did lose to Boston. They lost to the Hornets. The Hornets are fucking awesome. There's no shame in losing to the Hornets right now with how hot they've been. They managed to beat OKC without Steven Adams. They beat the Clippers. I don't consider the Clippers like a serious contender, but they've been really good late in the season as well. Let's see. I mean, they've had some good wins without Steven Adams. The one thing that would worry me if I was a Rockets fan, so right here, these last few games, they lost to Golden State in overtime. They're missing Jimmy Butler. Really no shame in losing to Golden State still. But these are the ones that would worry me. Everyone's turning up for the playoffs. It's basically not quite playoff level basketball, but it's not like coasting through the regular season. Teams are really gearing up. Teams are starting to kind of find out their lineups and starting to find out what they're going to do in the playoffs. So Houston, their most recent games, they got smoked by 25 points by San Antonio. Then they got smoked. I'm bad at math, but by almost 40 points, to the Nuggets. They lost to them as well. Then they beat New Orleans this last game. Those two losses would kind of concern me because the Spurs and Denver, they're both championship contenders in my opinion. I already talked about Denver. They fucking terrify me. They should terrify all the teams in the NBA. But I'd like to see those games at least be a little closer. I'd like to see a better effort from the Rockets in those games because you play against two teams you could definitely see in the playoffs, and you got smoked in those two games. And it's not like you got smoked in November, December. We're already halfway into March, and teams are really trying to win these games at this point. But back to my point, though, they brought in Kevin Durant. Rockets and Rockets fans were super happy to get Kevin Durant. They should be. He's still an amazing player. He's like 27 points per game on 50% shooting. He's like his regular self out there. It's amazing how Kevin Durant's been able to play so good for so long, just like LeBron. It seems like players are just getting more and more durable. James Harden as well. It seems like players are just having longer and longer primes in their careers. But Kevin Durant goes to Houston. They're the number 2 seed last season. Everyone's thinking, all right, Houston's probably one piece away. That's what a lot of people were thinking. So they add Kevin Durant. Everyone's thinking, all right, that's kind of what Houston was missing. And then Fred VanVleet tears his ACL. I want to say it was an ACL or an Achilles. And then Fred VanVleet's out for the entire year. Fred VanVleet, he's not an amazing player, but he's a really solid veteran point guard. And Houston is missing. They're just missing a point guard so bad. Again, Fred VanVleet, he's not like an all-star level. I would call him a high-level point guard at least. He's a veteran. He's going to do all the right things out there. He's going to get Kevin Durant in his spots, Amen Thompson in his spots, Şengün, everyone else. And at this point, they're kind of trying to run offense through Şengün as the hub like they normally do, or they'll drop it to Kevin Durant, let Kevin Durant run pick and roll, let him run isolations and things like that. But they added KD, and they were the number 2 seed last season. Of course, OKC's number 1. There was a big gap between the Thunder and the Rockets, but people were saying, Houston and OKC, they're 1 and 2, so Houston's kind of right there to possibly compete with the Thunder. And they add Kevin Durant. People were thinking that's going to be the piece to possibly put them over the top. But now they're missing Fred VanVleet still. Steven Adams going down is such a huge blow for the Rockets. And, even if their whole team was healthy, Fred VanVleet, Steven Adams, at that point, I would consider them really serious contenders. But without Fred VanVleet and Steven Adams, I don't see Houston. I'm talking about winning the championship. I don't see them coming out of the West or winning the championship, just to be totally honest, not to be a Rockets hater. That's just how I feel about the Rockets' chances. Back to my KD point. If Kevin Durant's on your team and you're looking for Kevin Durant to be the leader and lead you to a championship, it just never happened. Kevin Durant goes to Golden State. He wins his 2 championships in Golden State. It's whatever. I won't harp on it too much. In 10 years from now, Kevin Durant's going to be retired. We're going to say, hey, Kevin Durant, at least 2 times, maybe he wins another championship. But we're going to talk about him and say, hey, KD, 2-time NBA champion, and we're going to list all the rest of his accolades. So it was the weakest move I've ever seen in NBA history, Kevin Durant going to the Warriors, but I'm not so much mad at KD for doing that because he was kind of thinking, I don't want to not win any championships for my career. So he goes and he wins the championship. He played amazing. People call him a bus rider. That's partially true, but he played amazing. He kind of teamed up with the bullies, and they just fucking bullied the NBA for 4 years straight, and they were able to win those 2 titles. But now KD goes to Houston. He's the most veteran. I think Fred VanVleet's around the same age, but they want him to come in, be the leading scorer, which he is, be an amazing offensive player, which he always is. But they wanted him to kind of help lead the young guys and just help take them to the promised land, help just be an adult in the locker room, kind of help Şengün maybe with his temper tantrums and things, help him and Thompson just develop even more. And now he's on his fucking burner accounts. He's talking shit about Jabari Smith. He said Jabari Smith is, we'll just say the R word. He said he's a little slow, if you know what I'm saying. On one of his burner accounts, it's Mr. Dickerson. Get off my Dickerson is KD's other burner account. And KD, he's a snake in the grass, dude. Honestly, I would not want him in the locker room for my team. Just as amazing as he is offensively, he's not a leader. He's not a LeBron James or a Kobe Bryant. He's not one of the guys that's going to lead you to the promised land. He's not the guy you want your young players looking up to, because they're going to look up to him and think, man, KD's a cool ass dude. And then his fucking burner accounts come out. And if I was in the Houston locker room, I'd just be looking at KD sideways like, this guy's a fucking snake. He's just back there talking shit and never taking accountability for his team losing. If let's say if it's Kobe or LeBron, not so much. LeBron likes to duck blame, but like Kobe Bryant, Tim Duncan, Micheal Jordan, all these all-time great players, if their team loses, even if they played amazing, they just say, hey, that's on me, that's my fault, I should have done more. The real superstar players, all-time greats, they take the blame and put it on their shoulders. Where with Kevin Durant, he loses or his team's doing bad and he gets on his burner accounts and starts talking shit about his teammates, and he's just really toxic for a locker room. So, I don't think Houston's a serious contender. I waited till the end of the video. I'm a Spurs fan, to let y'all know. I don't think I was too biased with my takes, but let me know what you think. Again, Houston adds KD, and if they had Steven Adams and Fred VanVleet all healthy out there, I would think they would be a really serious contender. But man, at this point, with the burner tweets coming out, Kevin Durant's just such a snake. He's so toxic. He's so toxic, and he's so toxic in any locker room he goes to at this point in his career. One last point: Kevin Durant comes in, Amen Thompson, Şengün, they're kind of just developing at their own pace. They're probably expecting a bigger jump from Amen Thompson this year. Amen's an amazing player. There's no team that wouldn't love to have Amen Thompson, but his jump shot's still broken. They were hoping his jumper would develop a little bit more, but it just hasn't yet. Amen's already an amazing player. In 2 or 3 years, he'll probably be just a full-fledged superstar player. But, just moved up the timeline. Houston, they were thinking, we're going to try to win a championship the next, I don't know, 3 or 4 years maybe, hopefully sooner. But they add Kevin Durant this season, and now they're thinking, we have to win this year or next year because Kevin Durant's going to be like 39 years old in 2 years here. But then you get that man, you look at him as your leader, and then he gets on his fucking burner accounts and starts talking shit about all his teammates. And I just think it's if I played for Houston, I'd always be looking at Kevin Durant sideways, and I'd always think this guy's just doing sneak shit and talking shit about all of us behind our backs. But with that being said, mainly the health concerns. Fred VanVleet, Steven Adams, if they were healthy and out there, Houston would have a real shot at coming out of the West and winning a championship. But just with those two players missing, I don't think they have a chance to win the championship. Please like and subscribe. I'm trying to hit 7 million subscribers. Let me know what you thought about the video. Let me know what you think about the Rockets, because again, if they were healthy, I think they'd be real contenders. They brought in Kevin Durant. They thought it was going to kind of fix their entire offense. It has made their offense better, but they're still lacking a point guard. And again, Ime Udoka schemes really well defensively, but then on the offensive end, he doesn't have too many weapons outside of Kevin Durant. Reed Shepherd, Amen Thompson's a solid offensive player. I just feel like they're lacking firepower to go along with their defense. And then the Fred VanVleet and Steven Adams injuries really killed the Houston Rockets. But please like and subscribe. We'll see y'all next time. Peace out.